You know, it seems like we read about it just about every day now, the importance of social connection to our overall health and happiness. But, unfortunately, especially as we age, there is an epidemic of loneliness today that's just having a devastating impact on older adults. And that really is why Growing Bolder has partnered with a revolutionary tech company that's called GrandPad. They've created a global platform that not only helps seniors remain independent, it helps them really in any living situation stay connected with their family, their friends, and their caregivers worldwide. A guy by the name of Earl Chen is the big brain behind the team that has created the GrandPad tablet and the global platform that allows seniors to video chat, to share photos and videos, to play games, all on a secure, encrypted network only for their family. Let's start with what may be the biggest piece of all, because if what you're doing is not secure, it really doesn't make any difference how great the other features might be, because we know that seniors are vulnerable to scams. How big of a threat are scams and frauds today, and how do you and your team deal with security issues?
Well, I think, just to start, it really is a very sad situation we're in. Scams are growing. They're continuing to grow. Fraudsters, the bad guys, thieves, whatever you want to call them, have found that to be able to attack people online is very lucrative and very easy to do. And unfortunately, because of the loneliness that many seniors experience, they're more susceptible to these types of scams. I mean, really what we've seen, since the FBI has started keeping statistics, it's grown almost exponentially. In 2019 and 2020, the losses to seniors went from a few hundred million to nearly $1 billion. And in 2021, it was $1.7 billion that seniors lost, according to the FBI. And now the FBI is estimating seniors are losing $3 billion a year.
I know your program is encrypted, and we hear, encrypted all the time. So help us understand that, because when you say you created an encrypted family network, I mean, as I understand it, you mean no spam, no telemarketers, no scam. How do you achieve that?
Well, I think the first thing is pretty simple, actually. What we've done is we create this a circle of trust. So just the people within the seniors' circle of trust are able to access our platform. So your friends, your family, and even caregivers. So we have all those contacts associated with the senior's GrandPad. And so those are the people who can call the GrandPad or make video calls and that are easy to contact for the senior, right? So in that way, we can filter out all the spam. I mean, one thing that we do see over and over again is the seniors are afraid to answer the phone. So you try and call your grandma and she just doesn't want to pick up the phone because she thinks it's going to be a scammer. On the GrandPad, when that rings, she knows it's going to be somebody she's familiar with. She'll see the person's picture pop up with the call, and so she'll be happy to answer.
Can you share with us, Earl, what are some of the more typical or common scams or frauds that are going on right now?
Sure. I think the biggest one that really afflicts seniors is what they call imposter scams. There are a number of different ways the bad guys do these. So they'll pretend to be a family member, maybe a grandchild, and they'll call the senior and they'll pretend to be in trouble. Like, oh, I've been arrested, I need money for bail. And so creating this artificial emergency, faking this emergency when you talk to the senior creates that urgency and that need to act. The second largest group of scams are these technical support scams. So messages will pop up on your computer. They'll get you to call a number, say your machine's been infected, you're going to lose all your money, your bank account's been taken over. And then when they get you on the phone, they'll get you to fund a gift card or give them access to your bank account, actually, or give them access to your whole computer, right? And in that way, they've scammed you. And then the third one that is also very popular is kind of the flip side of that. So instead of creating this kind of emergency for you to act immediately, it's a good thing. So you've won the lottery or you've won a special prize. All you need to do is pay this amount and we'll send you the special prize. Or, during the holiday season, we see a lot of scams around the latest, hottest gift, right? So grandpa wants to get the newest toy for his grandson and it's impossible to get, but guess what? This scammer has it. And if you pay X amount, they'll send it to you. But of course, it never arrives and you're out your money.
Another one that I think has been around for a while, kind of these love and relationship things. There's this epidemic of loneliness, and somehow people will contact you and create a relationship, and the next thing they've got access to your money.
Yeah, absolutely. And those are really sad. They do fall into that group of imposter scams, and they do take longer to materialize, but we do see those as well. And you're absolutely right. Those end up being the ones that where the biggest losses occur. I think the last statistics the FBI has published for 2021, over 3,000 seniors lost over $100,000 to scams like this.
AI is everywhere these days, and I think we could probably talk about the good and the bad about that forever, but we're cloning people's voices now. It is so easy for even the most sharp and astute person to get fooled. I mean, how has AI challenged you guys from a back-end perspective and trying to make sure everybody's safe?
I think it is a big challenge. I think the concern here really is the scams can become much more effective. And that really is a danger, right? So, in many cases, most people will resist the scam. They will think, oh, I don't think, Junior's over here where this person's telling me that, or it doesn't quite sound like, Susie, right? And so in that way, your alarms will be raised and you'll hang up the phone or you'll stop the conversation. But with AI, the ability to clone a voice, it only takes, maybe 5-10 seconds of somebody's social media video for the AI to clone the voice. And now you have a very realistic tool that sounds just like Susie. And so it's much harder to detect. So it is a really big concern. And then you also have this idea of automation where the tools themselves can actually scam a person. Instead of needing a human to execute the scam, the AI tool can scam the person. So now you have a volume problem. So there are many more scams that are possible to execute by just a single scammer.
You mentioned about another type of security that you are giving people who use a GrandPad, and that's the security of knowing that their loved ones and their caregivers are never out of reach. What kind of feedback have you gotten from users? And to me, it's interesting because it's a win-win-win. I mean, it's the older adult who has it. Life is expanded in so many ways. His or her adult children and grandchildren now have, the security and the exposure to grandma that they maybe didn't have before.
Every day I get to hear these wonderful testimonials from users, real users, both seniors and their family, about how GrandPad's able to change their life. I can tell you, honestly, I've never cried so much. It was happy tears. Never cried so much in my life as the last 5 years that I've worked here at GrandPad. But really touching stories about how grandma was able to see, her grandchildren who she hasn't seen because of the pandemic, or a dad was able to see the birth, be there in the room in the hospital of, virtually, of his first grandson, things like that. Really, really special moments. Or how, the family is able to get together and just share simple things like a meal together or chat over coffee because of the GrandPads. It's wonderful to hear how many ways people are using the GrandPad to create that connection, create that interaction, and have that human contact that we all need.